Hello and welcome to the 1.0 release of Cocktail Party, your proximity-based video chat solution and our Capstone 492 project. My name is AJ Fabry.
I'm Will Heffernan.
I'm Graham Schroyer.
I'm Hunter Hagney.
And I'm Alex Scott.
And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
With the massive move to work from home last March, we saw a big rise in popularity for apps like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Cisco WebEx. While these services provide users with a safe way to interact without being physically together, there's still something impersonal and awkward about the static layout of a Zoom call.
So, Cocktail Party aims to solve these problems by providing users with a two-dimensional virtual space that more closely simulates the actual real-life large gathering experience. When you're in a traditional conferencing app like Microsoft Teams or Zoom or WebEx, you're locked in place in one spot in the program, whereas in Cocktail Party, you've got the ability to actually control the location of your video feed using the arrow keys, similar to a sort of real-life gaming experience. Also, many of these traditional video conferencing applications group everyone together in one call. So while that may be all right for very small gatherings, it's not a very scalable solution. So this means that if you've got a bunch of participants in one call, it's very difficult for everyone to be heard. Have you ever been in a 40-person Zoom call before? It's usually not the best experience for discussion. So Cocktail Party solves this by implementing its own proximity chat system. Our app actually separates every call into distinct zones, which allows participants to break into smaller groups to chat amongst themselves while staying in a larger call. These zones end up coming up in the form of different house layouts, as you can see in the bottom corner of the slide here. If one user enters a particular room in the house, they're essentially in one call with only the people that are in that particular room of the house. And if they want to go back out and join the larger call experience, say in the living room of this house in the bottom corner, they can do so.
So we'll get into more of the functionality once we get to the demo. But for now, Alex, would you take us into some of the technologies that we use?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Graham. The technologies we're using for this app include Bootstrap, Lance.gg, Video.io, and Firebase. So Bootstrap is a front-end framework we're using. It makes it really easy to manage the layout of the front-end design of our web app, and it also comes with components we use such as buttons and the nav bar.
Lance.gg is a node-based game server that actually provides a lot of the net code behind the individuals moving and interacting. Super helpful in providing collision between the walls and the players and the actual player movement within the room.
Video.io is a communication platform providing cloud-based API and SDK that allows you to have video chat in your web, mobile, and native apps. After much consideration, we decided to go with Video.io for our project. In our application, it is used to host the calls. Users can select from 3 unique floor plans and host their own rooms, or join another user's call by using a unique code that is generated by the host of the room.
We used Firebase for all of our backend database functionality. So this included information for all of our users, such as their unique code that other users could use to add them as friends, as well as the current friends that they have and the requests that they've sent out to add other friends. This also included all of our room information for the calls, so like the IDs of all of the participants in the call, as well as information for which layout was chosen for that call.
So as you can imagine, we're using a very, very wide range of services here that we all had to figure out some sort of cohesive way to actually tie together all of these solutions. So it was actually one of the biggest challenges that we faced. We initially set our goal out to be a true proximity-based chat solution in which the closer you get to one person in the call, the louder they sound in the call environment. We ended up running into several hurdles along the way, but each time we ended up figuring out different solutions to try and navigate around these, such as the actual proximity chat solution that we ended up settling on, in which we made it more of a room-based system. We'll go into a little bit more depth on that later when we demo the actual application features.
Speaking of demo, Hunter, why don't you get us started?
Now, if it's your first time in Cocktail Party, you will need to create an account. This can be done by clicking the Sign Up Now button. After filling in all the required fields, an account can be made by hitting the Register button. We now have access to the core functionalities. Let's go to Will on how we can add or remove friends.
So on the left side of our screen here, you can see we have this Friends tab, which will take us to the Friends page. So as you can see on the side, I already have friends. I'm already friends with AJ. And then there's this little box over here for where we can add new friends, as well as this code here that's unique to my user that other users can add me by. So in this box here to add by code, I'll type in the code for one of our test accounts, and this will send a request. So as you can see down here, now we have a request to add a friend to this alpha account. This arrow on the left here indicates that I was the one who sent the request, so I'm not able to accept it for him. If I didn't actually want to become friends with alpha, I can use this X to delete that request. And as you can see, while we were adding that alpha request, Graham sent us one of his own. And I can use this little checkbox here to accept it. Now over here on the side, it will show that we have this new message notification because we've added a new friend and we have a new conversation. Here to explain more about messages, I'm going to pass it off to Alex.
So now we will be testing the messaging feature. So if, as you can see, I now have an orange notification, meaning I just received a message. Oh, look, it's Graham. He's telling me about what he's doing. That's really cool. And as you can see, I have messages from my other friends here, and it has our conversation history. So yeah, and now I can just send a chat back to Graham whenever I'd like, and I can say, hey, do you want to video chat later? And he'll receive that message right away, and I'll just wait for his response. And I'll just go back to the home tab while I wait, and there, see, we get the orange notification once again, and he does. So I'll send you the video code soon.
All right, now we're going to throw it over to AJ, who's going to demonstrate some of the host and join call functionality with Will. AJ?
All right, thank you, Graham. So as you can see here, I'm currently on the Cocktail Party home screen, and this is just what comes up for every user right after they log in. So since I'm going to start a cocktail party with Will, I'm going to go ahead and hit the host button. And as you can see here, we've got a few different layouts that we can actually choose from. And what's really cool about this is all of these environments are fully interactive, meaning that every single wall you see here is actually mapped to its own simple physics engine that we use in Cocktail Party to simulate collisions between the players and the walls, or the players and themselves. So I like this layout, so I'm going to go ahead and start my cocktail party here. Now I'm currently loading up. You see that the map has already rendered, and you should see my local camera feed hop in shortly. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and grab my code and use the direct messaging functionality that's built in to send my code to Will. So Will, who is an active Cocktail Party user, will get that message, have a nice little notification pop up for him, and he should be able to use that code to come join us here. So as Will's getting ready here, we can go ahead and start exploring some of this environment. And you can see, even if I'm trying to, I actually can't break out of these walls. And the same goes for the door functionality. And Will, you look at that. It looks like we've got a guest in our cocktail party. That's Will currently loading in. So, Will, can you hear me?
I can hear you, AJ. How's it going?
I am doing fantastic now that I can see that you have loaded in. So here, just like I mentioned, there are collisions between the players and the walls. Just like real life, you can actually collide with other people, which is really cool. You can see we're currently fighting over a position here. So given that this is my house, I can actually have control over the doors in our virtual environment. So I'm going to go ahead and open the doors, and you'll see these all pop open. So as I alluded to earlier in the presentation, there are actually different call zones within this overall floor plan in this cocktail party. So for instance, if I were to go over to the porch, that's its own separate call zone. So what you'll see is Will and I will actually be in separate calls, yet I'll still see his player sprite. It'll instead just be replaced with his profile photo, just like that. So Will, if he were to follow me into the porch zone, he'll actually rejoin and we will be in the same call again together. It'll take just a minute as we do some net synchronization. And you can see Will is right here. He's back in our call. I can
Hey,
push
how's it
him.
going?
It's doing really great, Will. I'm glad to see you out here on the porch. And if we really wanted to have some privacy out here, I could close the doors and neither of us can escape the porch now. Obviously, that's not necessarily an ideal scenario. So we can go and open that back up. Will can exit the porch and we're going to be in separate calls again. There's his profile photo because we are in separate calls. If I wanted to follow him back into the larger call space, we're going to both be back together in the same video call. And if we had other guests with us, they'd also be sharing the same space with us. There he is again. If I wanted to also take advantage of some of the host privileges, I could even mute Will. I'm not going to take advantage of that too much because Will's a cool guy. So the same concept extends obviously to the rest of the zones in the cocktail party layouts, such as the bathroom, bedroom, and then there are several different other layouts where we can take advantage of similar circumstances. And we believe it's a really great solution to actually be able to modularize the virtual large gathering experience. All right, so that has been a deep dive into the features that we have throughout Cocktail Party. We hope you enjoy the demo, and thank you for watching.